Hi there, I'm Angela. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy you stopped in. And if you've been coming here for a while, I'm so happy that you came back. Today we're going to talk about some issues that I had while printing out my very first PDF pattern. Stay tuned. As you may know, I'm working on the True Bias Shelby dress, and last week I started to print out the PDF pages. And if you've done a PDF pattern before, you know they give you that little, like a 2-inch square, or maybe sometimes 1 inch on the first page, just so you can print that first page, make sure that that little square is exactly 1 or 2 inches. And if it is, you know you're good to go. And if it doesn't measure exactly to that designated size, you'll know you need to make some adjustments within the Adobe PDF program. So when I printed my first page for the Shelby pattern, it did have the 2-inch square, and it was a little large, like just a fraction. So I decreased the size within my Adobe program to 99% and reprinted the page. And it was perfect. I mean, it was spot on, a 2-inch by 2-inch square. So that was pretty exciting, and I thought, oh, well, I'm good to go. So I started printing out all 54 pages, which I was kind of blown away that there were that many pages in the pattern. And that might be typical, but since this was my first one, I didn't have anything to base it on. So I started printing out the 54 pages, and when I print things on my printer, I have to grab the pages off after like 2 or 3 pages print out, otherwise they all start falling on the floor. So I went and grabbed the first little batch from my printer, and I thought something looked a little bit off. And when I compared the page to like the second and third pages and so forth to what the PDF looked like on my screen, parts of it were getting cut off, and I'll show you an example of what I mean.
So how I knew that something had gone wrong was that we're looking at page 2 right now of the PDF file, and even though page 1 printed out perfectly, some of the edges, like the line drawings and the dots here, the pattern lines, were cut off. So I knew that something had gone wrong with the scaling, even though the first page came out just fine. So I wasn't sure if, do I need to print out each of the 54 pages individually and reset it back to 99%? So that's when I kind of had my breakdown.
Then I stopped the print job after like 27 pages had printed out, unfortunately. So I wasn't sure what to do about that, because the first page was right, like that 2-inch square was dead on, and the actual pattern piece, like the line drawings on that first page, matched up exactly. It was just every sequential page after that that didn't match up, and I wasn't sure what was going on, but it was enough to make me like doubt everything. I thought, I don't want to print all 54 of these pages out and then tape them together, cut out the pattern, and nothing matches up. So I kind of had like a mini moment of panic. And what I decided to do, just because this is my first one and I was already a little nervous about it, was to go ahead and order the printed pattern from PDF Plotting. So you guys may have heard of that before. It's a service that if you send them a PDF file that's big, like maybe a pattern, a sewing pattern, or maybe they would even do blueprints or things like that. I'm not sure. They might only do sewing patterns. But I've heard other sewists talk about using PDF Plotting, so I thought, and that it's not too pricey. So I thought, I'm just going to go there and order a print of this, and that way when it gets here, I can try to reprint the PDF and see if I can get it to match up to that print that I ordered, just to kind of like as a check and balance, at least for this very first time, to make sure I was getting it right. So I went on to PDF Plotting's website, and that's what I would like to show you guys today. I'd like to tell you how how that went, how the whole process worked, whether I was satisfied or not, the cost, delivery time. So if that's something that you're interested in, we're going to dive right into that.
So let's walk through the whole process of getting a pattern printed by PDF Plotting. So the pattern company, at least True Bias, that's the only one that I have experience with so far. When you purchase the pattern and download the files, there are two different files. One is for you to print at home on letter size paper, and the other one is a larger size that you send to a printer, and they print it out on like a big, long, rolled up paper. That was pretty easy. I'm going to actually go onto their website and show you how simple that is to do, to upload the file, to place your order, and everything like that. Then we'll look at cost and delivery time, and then finally I'll end it with an unboxing of the printed pattern to show you what that was like. So give me just a second. So here I am on PDF Plotting's website, and their URL is just pdfplotting with 2 T's.com. I'll put a link down in the description box below. On their very first, like their homepage, they actually have a short, very helpful video that tells you exactly what you need to do to how to order. It shows you how to upload your pattern file and how to go from there. I found it to be really helpful. It was worth watching. It's 3 minutes long, definitely worth watching. So we'll go back up to their menu along the top, and if we click pattern printing, you can choose color or black and white. The PDF files that I downloaded for the pattern were only in black and white, so I chose black and white. Pattern printing, and right here you get sizes. There's all kinds of sizes that you can choose from, and they do show you that if you look at the lower left hand of your PDF, which I will show you here. I'm not sure if this is showing up, but it's just outside of my screen recording range, but this is the actual PDF file. And if you could see my whole screen, right down in this lower corner there is a file size. So you have to look at that, and you'll know very easily which one of these sizes to choose. So one of the sheets fit into the 36-inch by 152-inch category or size, and the other one was up to 200 inches size. It should be very easy for you to find that information though. So like for instance, the 36 by 152, that's 36 by up to 152. So say the size was 36 by 117, you would choose this 36 by 152. It would be too big for this next down size, and you wouldn't need to go all the way up to the 200 inch. So I hope that made sense. So once you decide or identify what your file size is and choose that option, you click Select Options, and it'll tell you $6.69 per page. You can choose number of pattern pages and number of copies. So for each of the files, there were the 2 PDF files, they were each just 1 page. So I just chose 1, and I only wanted 1 copy. You could choose more than 1 if you wanted to do that. You would just pay the extra cost, and then you would choose your file here. So just click that, and then it'll take you to the directory on your computer wherever you save those files, and you would select it, and it gets added to, then it shows up here, and then you have to click Add to Cart to add it to your cart. So that's what I did for both of the pages, both of the files, and delivery was actually really, really quick. So they actually have a map here of the United States, and I apologize, I don't think that maybe this particular service might not be available outside of the United States, but I'm sure that there are very similar services in other countries, and it might be worth emailing PDF Plotting to see if they ship international. I'm not sure. It kind of doesn't look like it though. They're located in Richmond, Virginia, so right around in here. And based on which state you live in, they will tell you exactly how many days it will take for that that pattern to get to you. You can also do air services, but you're going to add just about $50 onto your shipping for 1 or 2 days shipping. Not worth it in my opinion. So for me, I am in Ohio, and I placed my order on January 26th, and I received it on January 30th. So it did take, they shipped it UPS SurePost, and it says 3 days, but it could have been that I placed it maybe late in the day on the 26th, so it would have rolled over and been the 27th when my order was processed. So it did get here. If you take that into consideration, it did get here within 3 days. So I was really, really happy with the speed of the delivery. So now we will take a quick look at cost. And while, just to give you a heads up on this, a little forewarning, $6.69 per page doesn't seem that pricey, but then when there were actually 2 pages, this one I ordered was the smaller size. The other page in this pattern fell into that 200-inch category, so it was just a little bit pricier, and then shipping. So I just to give you a heads up, I did get a little bit of sticker shock, but at this point I was so not in serious panic mode, but just a little bit frustrated with my inability to print the PDF and just wanting to start on this pattern. I thought, I'm going to bite the bullet and do it, and then I'll have a correctly printed one delivered to me, and then I can practice printing my own out and see if it matches up, figure out where I went wrong with that. And the funny thing is, I use Adobe pretty frequently at work. I have the full Adobe and create PDFs and do edits and everything, and so I was really frustrated at myself that I couldn't seem to make this work. But I'm not giving up. Just had to do a little workaround this time. So we will look at cost now that you've been forewarned. So this is a screenshot of my order, and you can see that I ordered 1 copy of the 36-inch by 152-inch and 1 of the 36-inch by 200-inch. So it did go up a couple of dollars to pay for that larger sheet. So that made the subtotal $17.58 US dollars, and then add on about $8 for SurePost shipping, $1.05 for sales tax, and my total was $26.62 US. So I had to just gulp at that. It added up, and I was a little dismayed, but I went ahead and just bit the bullet because I just need to get started on this pattern. And I definitely will figure out what's going on with that PDF. So now that we've gotten all the business end of things out of the way, let's look at the unboxing of it. It was exciting when it finally arrived. So this is it, and the only thing I've done so far is just to peel off the shipping labels just for privacy. And this came in on Sunday, January 30th, and today's Tuesday, February 1st, and I was dying to open it, but I wanted to open it with you guys, from the very beginning to give you a good thorough overview of how the process went. So I didn't have a chance to film until today. So this has been sitting here on my table just waiting to be opened since then. So if you guys are ready, shall we? You can see that it is packaged up really thoroughly. And looks like to open it, you guys see that? Looks like to open it, there's a front flap here that just probably peels open. There's no zip strips that you would open some other types of packages with, like a FedEx envelope. Sometimes cardboard packages have those too, but wow, yeah, this is on here pretty good. Okay, there we go. All I had to do was get get a little opening there, and it seems like it's opening up pretty easily. There we go. Sorry if that's pretty loud. All right, here we go. Ready? And this is the pattern. I went ahead and ordered all the different options. There's 4 options on the pattern, so I ordered all 4 of them. I figured if I was paying for shipping and paying for the printing, just do it all up front. And then what I'll do is just trace off whichever size I use for this. So we've got the pattern rolled up, and that's like almost a 1/4 inch thick rolled. It's probably more detail than you guys want. I'm just trying to like share, make sure that's recording, share everything with you. And then there's a little packing tape, like clear packing tape holding it together. So I'm going to very carefully peel that off. All right, ready? Here goes. So this first layer is just 1 sheet, and it feels about like regular printer paper, maybe a little bit thinner than printer paper would be. Oh, wait, that's just an overwrap. There's nothing on it, like a protective wrapping. Well, and then the actual pattern paper feels about the same. So this is, I apologize if this is so noisy. Let me get some things out of the way here. And these sheets are long. I could tell that from the file. The measurements of each sheet are listed on the file that TrueBias, the pattern maker, provides to you to have these printed off. It's really long. Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of spread this out on my work table, and then I'll come back once it's all spread out, because I know this is getting to be pretty noisy for you guys. This sheet is massively long, so to give you an idea, it has to drape over onto the floor here, go up onto my cutting table, which is 6 feet long, all the way the length of the cutting table, and then down the other side, and it's almost touching the floor on this side. And although I am going to trace anything that I make from this so I never have to pay to have this printed again, I probably will still go ahead and cut the individual pieces out, you know, leaving a margin around them, because this is a little hard to work with. Now, am I going to be able to roll this back up? I don't think I'm even going to try. I think I'm going to go ahead, like as soon as I finish filming, and just go ahead and cut these, you know, cut the individual pieces out, allowing a lot of extra margin of white space on each side. That way I can at least stack them up nicely, and I won't have to risk like damaging this trying to roll it back up. And to give you an idea, that's the other piece right there. It kind of just fell when this first piece, they were rolled up together. When the first piece came free, that one just like fell to the floor. So I'm going to get that one up on the table, stretched out, and then just start cutting. And like I mentioned, I am not giving up on this. I'm sure it's just like fiddling with the settings or something like simple like that. Um, yeah, I mean, there's way too many good indie PDF patterns out there to give up, and I'm not giving up. So just for now, this was my workaround.
So that's all I have for you today. I hope you found this helpful if you've ever considered using the PDF plotting service. And if you guys have any ideas or thoughts on what could have gone wrong with my own PDF printing, please feel free to leave it in the comments. I think this whole like the Shelby process has been fun, and it feels like it's becoming a group project. I chose the pattern based on a suggestion from one of the viewers, and then you guys were here when I was trying to decide what fabric to go with, and now the printing process. I will welcome any thoughts on where I might have gone wrong on that. I would appreciate that, actually. And this, just to state for the record, I don't think this in any way reflects on the pattern itself. In fact, I know that to be true because I've already gotten my print back from PDF plotting, which you guys saw. I've already traced the pieces and cut out a muslin and stitched the muslin together, and it's perfect. It's so good, you guys. I can't wait to make this dress. So until next time, thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.